Hi guys, so today we're going to be talking about angles of triangles. And so before we start with example one, let's look at the angle sum theorem here. Okay, so here the angle sum theorem, it tells us that the sum of the measures of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Okay, so the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180, okay? Which takes us to example one. Okay. So here we're going to find the missing angle measures. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is just what do I notice? Okay, so here I notice that I have two triangles. Okay, this triangle gives me more angle measures. This is 28, this is 82, and then this I don't know yet. Okay, however, I notice that this angle 1 and this angle 2 are vertical angles, which means that they will be congruent. Right? This angle here is 68 degrees, and this one is unknown. So I'm going to start with this one here. So 28 degrees plus my 82 degrees plus the measure of angle 1, since it forms this triangle, should be 180 degrees. Right? That's the triangle angle sum. Okay? So 28 plus 82 is 110. And then subtract 110 on both sides using the subtraction property of equality, and this gives me 70. So the measure of angle 1 is 70 degrees. Right? The reason why I'm writing it all out is because it helps me with proofs. It helps me to know why I got the answer. It's not just because that is the answer, but I have reasonings for it. Okay? Since angle 1 is 70, angle 2 is also 70 degrees. And so I'm also just going to write my reason. So this is my triangle, right, sum theorem. Okay. This one is because of vertical angle congruence theorem. Okay. And so then now I can figure out what angle 3 is, because now that I know angle 2 and this one's 68, 70 plus 68 plus whatever angle 3 is, since they form a triangle, should equal 180. Okay. 70 plus 68 is 138. And then 180 minus 138 is 42. And so the measure of angle 3 is 42 degrees. Okay. There you go. So why don't you try check your progress 1 here, and then once you're done, come check the answer. Okay, you should have gotten 123 degrees for the measure of angle 1, 52 degrees for the measure of angle 2, and 29 degrees for the measure of angle 3. If you got this right, you can move on to the next one. If not, here is your explanation. Okay? So I started off with angle 2, since this triangle actually gives me 2 of the 3 measurements. Okay, so again, triangle sum is 180, so 57 plus 71 plus angle 2 should equal 180, and I solved it to get 52. Okay. Then, to find angle 1 and this 57 degrees here, this is a linear pair, so they also add up to 180, and when I solved for that, I got 123. Okay. And then for angle 3, several ways you can do it. You can either think of this as one triangle, or you can think of the bigger one as one triangle. I just use the smaller one here. So angle 1 is 123, found that out, plus 28 plus whatever angle 3 is should equal 180 because of the triangle sum, and that gave me a measure of 29 degrees. Okay. Before we get on to example 2, here is our third angle theorem. Okay. If 2 angles of one triangle are congruent to 2 angles of a second triangle, then that third angle also has to be congruent. Reason why is because it has to add up to 180, right? So if we know what 2 of them already are, we could figure out the third one. If the 2 of them are the same here, then the third one would have to be the same. Right? Then next is our exterior angle theorem. Okay, so interior means inside, exterior is this outside angle. It's formed by one side of the triangle and then the extension of the other side. So here angle 1 is formed by this side and this side of the triangle extending. Okay. And what we know about the exterior angle of a triangle right, is that the exterior angle of the triangle is equal to the sum of the measure of the other two interior angles, right? So here you can see measure of angle x and measure of angle y equals this exterior angle on the opposite side, angle YZP, right? So we're going to start with our exterior angles and we're going to find the measures of them, okay? So first one here is the measure of angle 1, so that's here. Okay. According to that theorem we just talked about, the measure of angle 1 should equal the other two remote interior angles added up. So measure of angle 1 should equal 50 plus 78, okay, which gives us 128. So measure of angle 1 is 128 degrees. Okay. Then angle 2 here is a linear pair with that, right? So angle 2 then should equal 180 minus 128 since they're a linear pair. So 180 minus the 128 from angle 1. Okay, 180 minus 128 gives us 52. So angle 2 is 52 degrees. Okay. And then for the last one here, angle 3 here, to figure this out, since we know this exterior angle, right, formed by the extension of this side and this side, this should equal these two added together. So angle 3 plus angle 2, which is a 52, should equal 180, right? 180 minus the, should equal 120. 120 minus the 52 will give us 68, so the measure of angle 3 here is 68 degrees. Right? Again, we're using the exterior angle theorem. Okay, the exterior angle equals the sum of the other two remote interior angles. Okay. So why don't you try 2A and 2B, and once you're done, come check your answer. Okay, for 2A, you should have gotten 60 degrees because these are a linear pair. Okay. So that's why it's 180 minus 120 gives me 60. And then for angle 5, you should have gotten 116 because this exterior angle is the sum of these two remote interior angles. So 60 plus 56 gives you 116. Okay. So then now we're moving on to our last example, example 3. Okay. So here, ski jumper Simon Amann of Switzerland forms a right triangle with his skis and his line of sight. Okay. We want to find measure angle 2. Okay. If the measure of angle 1 here is 27. Okay. So here, since it forms a triangle, it should add up to 180. Okay. So this is 90. This is 27. This one's my unknown. So 90 degrees plus my 27 degrees plus whatever my measure of angle 2 is should equal 180. 90 plus 27 is 117. Okay, and then subtract 117 on both sides, and this gives me 63. So the measure of angle 2 is 63 degrees. Okay. So why don't you try number 3, and then check your progress number 3, and then once you're done, come check your answer. Okay. The measure of the other non-right angle would be 22 degrees. We know one of them is right angle, the other one is 68. Okay, they should add up to 180, so x would have to be 22. Okay. If you look at the book for example 3, they did it another way, and that's because they're using the corollaries here. Okay, you cannot again name it by this number. This number is arbitrary. It's only important in terms of this book, not in terms of geometry as a whole. So you're gonna have to write it out. Okay, but basically they were using this corollary here, which tells us that the acute angles of a right triangle, since one of them already has to be 90. Okay, so 180 minus 90 is 90. So the other two have to equal 90. they are complementary, okay? Which is why instead of having it equal to 180, they had the other two angles equal to 90 in order to total that 180. Okay? That's it for today. Have a great rest of the day. Bye, guys.